Good morning, Ignite students. Welcome to week 2 of Love Hate series. Just to remind you in case you forgot, we are a student movement who believes in bringing our real struggles to a real God to be changed by His real love. Love is our cause and competitiveness is our nature. So let's jump into week 2. Have you ever been grateful that one of your friends has given you a heads up, even if it was awkward for them? We've all had these moments. No one likes being told that they have food in their teeth, or that their zipper's down, or that, their button is unbuttoned somewhere. But when we have a friend who cares enough to tell us these embarrassing moments, it's good to have them on your side. Now let's flip it around. Have you ever been that person where you knew you probably should have told them that something was wrong, but you just didn't know how to go about it? Situations like these are usually really awkward and we really don't know how to go about it, so a lot of the time we tend to just avoid the conversation altogether. But why do we do that? Maybe we don't want to ruin a relationship or make the other person mad. Maybe we're doing or have done the same things in the past, so we don't feel like we have a right to say anything. Maybe we don't think the other person will listen, or maybe we just don't know how to say it. But for some of us, the situation is exactly the opposite. We have no problem telling anyone what we think, how we feel, our own opinions, but sometimes we're not the greatest in the way we say it. So what if we could learn a way to approach difficult conversations? And what if there is a way to be helpful and kind when we choose to speak up? And best of all, what if there is a way to have these difficult conversations that bring about something good? But here's the thing, no one likes to be known as someone who knows it all or tells other people how to live their lives, right? So when it comes to being a friend who looks out for others, how do we handle it in the right way? Last week we talked about being all about love, and who wouldn't want to be known for love? No matter what we think we want our reputation to be, we know it's better to be known for loving others. Paul actually wrote a letter about this to a church in Galatia. In Galatians 6:1, he writes, "Dear brothers and sisters, if another believer is overcome by some sin, you who are godly should gently and humbly help that person back onto the right path, and be careful not to fall into the same temptation yourself." So in other words, Paul is saying that we should go past just telling someone something, but actually help them get back onto the path that God has for them. Now there's a lot that Paul isn't saying here as well. He doesn't say that we're personally responsible for making sure our friends make wise choices. And he isn't saying that we should put ourselves in a position that sets us up for failure when our friends don't make the right choices. We definitely need to have wisdom in these conversations and these situations. The point is, Paul is saying that with humbleness and gentleness, we can help people who are making poor choices get back onto the right path. Paul also writes, "Share each other's burdens, and in this way obey the law of Christ." Galatians 6:2. So how do we help them get back onto the right path? We carry each other's burdens. As an example, when it comes to weightlifting, Andrew, can you explain what a spotter is?
Yes, a spotter is someone that assists someone in their weightlifting when a weight is too heavy. For example, say Mr. Juan Surya is doing a bench press and he has 10 whole pounds on the sides. He's very weak, so it's very heavy for him. So he's gonna be like this. He's gonna be struggling. I'm gonna be right by him. Like, don't worry, I got you. And I will lift the weight for him because it is too heavy for him. I am spotting him.
Sounds great, thank you. Back to you.
Oh, dang it, I was gonna say that.
So that is what we're supposed to do for each other. We're supposed to help each other carry the weights of our everyday lives. And that's what we do to help people get back onto the right track. Paul cared very deeply about the people of Galatia, and that's why he wrote what he did. He knew that the most loving thing to do isn't always the easiest, but we owe it to each other to speak up, because the truth is we need each other. Not just to point out when they've gone off track, but to come alongside them and help them lift that burden to get them back onto the right track. In other words, Jesus followers need to do more than just speak up and point out what's wrong. We need to become spotters in each other's lives. To help make things go right where they've gone wrong, we need to do more than just point fingers. We need to share burdens. And again, some of us may not have this issue of not knowing when or how to speak up. Some of us may be thinking, I don't care, I'll tell them how I feel. For those of us who may feel this way, Paul snuck in 2 words that will help us in these conversations. He said that we should be gentle and humble, which means what we say is just as important as how we say it. Since last week we learned to be all about love, the loving act is to not be arrogant or judgmental or self-righteous, but it is to be kind, helpful, and encouraging. And through this, it shows people that we're trying to help out of love. Hard conversations aren't easy, but avoiding a hard conversation isn't loving either. And when you think about it, the conversation isn't the point, really. The point is learning to ask this question: am I showing them love in how I'm treating them? Love pushes us to talk about these hard things, and it also pushes us to talk about them in a loving and compassionate way. Because that's what love does. It shares the burdens by caring about the person who's carrying it. So what is this supposed to look like, and how can you begin to put this into action this week? If during this you've thought of a friend that you may need to have a conversation with, and if you're going to be known for loving others, when you have that conversation, make sure you remember our bottom line, which is, let love be your filter. We already know how filters work on Instagram and on Snapchat. No matter where you look, it changes what you see. The same goes for love. No matter where you're looking, who you're talking to, make sure to filter what you say and how you say it through love. When we encourage someone to change his or her behavior, we have to make sure to do it in a loving way and not a judgmental way. And when we see them take a step in the right direction, we have to make sure to celebrate that. Why? Because that's what love does. So what exactly should a filter of love be applied to? Here are some examples. Let love be your filter for your involvement. If you're not sure if you need to get involved in your friend's situation, ask yourself this: what is the most loving thing I can do? Whether that means having a heart-to-heart conversation with your friend, or maybe talking to a parent on what to do next. Another example is let love filter your words. Ask yourself, how would I want someone to speak to me if I were doing something that needed to be corrected? When you filter your words through love, you'll stop and make sure that you're not saying something out of judgment or anger, but instead being intentional on what you say and how you say it definitely shows that you care for that person. And finally, let love be your filter for your actions and your reactions. If you have a friend that's having a hard time staying on the right track, chances are they're going to need more than just your words. They're going to need your help. How we choose to filter our help is through love. Ask yourself this: if I were in this situation, how would I want to be helped? No matter the situation, if you choose to filter your actions and your reactions through love, you'll live out the instruction that Paul gave us to help each other share in each other's burdens. Imagine how our schools, our friendships, and even our families would change for the better if everyone chose to filter their actions and their words and how they react to others through love. And again, that doesn't mean that everything's roses and unicorns, but it just means that we're willing to share in the burdens of others. We're willing to say those hard things that need to be said. Not out of judgment, but out of love. So let's be people who let love be our filter. So that's a wrap for our week 2 of our Love-Hate series. As always, your Ignite leaders and your Ignite family loves and misses you so much. So be sure to Zoom with us tonight. The link is in the description below. We will be Zooming at 7 as always. And we can't wait to be with you guys. Bye.